Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Adam Eisen Show. We're on to Season 2, Episode 12, and got a number of topics planned for today. So go ahead to start it off. There's no running from it. There's no hiding from it. I gotta own up to it. The Green Bay Packers, they're just average. Last Sunday, they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football. And the week before that, on Thursday Night Football, at home, they lost to the Tennessee Titans. Now, both those losses came after a win against the Dallas Cowboys, which seemed like a win that was going to put the Green Bay Packers season back together. But now these two losses, it puts the Packers, if they win out their last 5 weeks, because they got a bye week here coming up, their last 5 weeks, if they win out, the Green Bay Packers, they have a 48% chance to make the playoffs. Now, Rodgers, he's planning to play this weekend despite being hurt badly. We know he's been battling the thumb injury the whole year. Ever since he broke it, I believe it was week 6. He's been battling it the whole year. And the rib injury, which occurred this past game. And it was ruled an oblique injury. We were worried about a punctured lung. Didn't know what was going to happen there. But Rodgers is hurt badly, and he still plans on playing against the Bears, which shocks me. I think it's time to see what Jordan Love is made of. This defense, with Joe Barry as the DC, it's just not working. Last game, they gave up 22 missed tackles in a single game. 22 missed tackles. The only bright side that has come out of this losing stretch is Christian Watson, and knowing the Packers finally have drafted a receiver that is worth a damn in the first 2 rounds. Now, Jordan Love, as I said, he did not look bad. And I really think heading into this offseason, the Packers need to see what they have with Love. No one knows what's happening with Rodgers. Personally, I believe Rodgers, he's going to retire. I've been saying that. I think it's his last year. He's done with it. He wants a life after football, and he's going to retire. And the Packers, in that case, they've had Jordan Love that they traded up for, wasted a first-round pick on at the time. You got this guy, you got to see what you have. We're heading into a quarterback draft that's going to be 5 to 6 deep in the first round. And I loved what I saw out of him. He went 6 for 9, 119 yards, and a touchdown. He had a great crossing route to Christian Watson. Now, Rodgers, all season, he's been missing little throws like that. And Jordan Love, he had a little bit of Rodgers in him. He's been learning from him for 3 years, and there's no pressure on him right now. There's no high expectations. This is the perfect time for Jordan Love to cement himself as an NFL quarterback. There's no expectations on him. Aaron Rodgers didn't just go down on his way to a 3rd MVP season. The Packers on a 13-win team this year. There's 0 on him. No pressure. Come next season, all the pressure is going to be back. They're the Green Bay Packers, a historic franchise. All the pressure will be back. But this year, they are just average. There's nothing about it. They're not a poor team. It's just they're average. And then in these big physical battles, they're just always the second most physical team. They'll scrape off a couple great wins, like the Dallas game. They'll upset a couple teams' schedules. But guys are hurt. Rashawn Gary, Devondre Campbell, those guys, they make a huge difference up front. Kenny Clark is no longer an anchor. We don't hear his name. These are guys that are supposed to be a top 3 defense this year. And they're hurt. And they're getting even softer now because they're losing even more important pieces. Now, I hate throwing in the towel, and I suspect the Packers do beat the Bears this weekend, and a 48% chance to make the playoffs if you went out, that's not bad. But you're talking about games. We're going to have to go to Miami. We're playing the Vikings again. That's not a road to success. What is a road to success is looking in the future at this point. Or figuring out what's happening with Rodgers. That's truly been up in the air. All the interviews he's done, no one knows what his plan is. So that's the number one thing that needs to be figured out. Now, transitioning offensive coordinator that the Packers lost, it's a big reason for the Packers' lack of success this season. Nathaniel Hackett, Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos, and this is the biggest letdown them and the Las Vegas Raiders across the entire league this year. And there's some defending Russ, there's some defending Nathaniel Hackett, there's hate going all around. But I think there's three parties that share blame. It's Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett, and most of all, it is the Denver Broncos front office. You cannot do a quarterback and a head coach in the same year. They tried to bring two different systems in. And I mean, Wilson, a funny stat, Russell Wilson, he has 12 bathrooms in his house, and yet he doesn't even have that many touchdowns this season and could not eclipse that mark. Great stat for you. But the whole segment, we'll get back to Russell Wilson, the Broncos, the Cardinals, and Kyler Murray. Now, Patrick Peterson, on his podcast this past week, he basically came out and made a bunch of noise saying Kyler Murray don't care about no one but Kyler Murray. And where I'm going with this is the Broncos and the Cardinals here, they are trapped. In other leagues, if we look at the NBA, LeBron, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, all these guys, they make a lot of headlines. They are in the news a lot. They're social media kings. If you line up all of the top 10 NBA social media guys, their following count to the whole NFL, the top 10 NBA guys will beat them. The NBA, the star is the king. In soccer this past week, we saw Ronaldo getting offered $200 million a year by Saudi Arabia. The star is the king. In the MLB, we've seen $300 million contracts being thrown around all the time. The star is the king. One place where the star is not the king, that's the NFL. In the NFL, they don't want to be like the NBA, and I don't think the NBA wants to be like the NFL. But now things are slowly changing, and guys are getting star power out of organizations. In the NBA, teams can get trapped so easily. We've talked about this before. In the NFL, you can turn around a team overnight in the fourth week of April on a night in Thursday. You can take over. You can turn around your entire team. But the NBA, you sign one bad contract, I can think of 5 to 10 over the last 10 years that have ruined teams, John Wall being one of them. Ruined teams cap-wise. One bad contract paired with one bad injury, one bad incident, one bad anything that ruins a team from anywhere from 4 to 10 years. The NFL, it can change overnight in a heartbeat. We've seen it happen before. The NFL and teams in this league, they don't get trapped. But right now, Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray, they have Arizona and they have Denver a little trapped. While trading for Russ was great, don't get me wrong, I liked the trade for Russ. The problem was they chose to re-sign Russell Wilson to a massive $250 million deal before ever seeing him play ball for them. And so now what the Denver Broncos are left with is a quarterback that is aging, out of his prime, in a brand new system after he's been in the same system for 10 seasons. In Arizona, Kyler Murray, he's in his prime. They have all sorts of draft picks, but it's too damn noisy, and we've said that forever. Denver, because of the Russell Wilson trade, they're out of money. They're out of picks. These two guys, they have their organizations trapped. In Denver, they need to pray they find a young, hot-minded offensive coach Because Russell Wilson took away their money. They took away their picks. Nathaniel Hackett is not it. They need a Sean McVay. They need a Kyle Shanahan who can go work with nothing and give them something so they can rebuild there, get their draft picks back, get their money back. And in Arizona, they need to go out and they need to hire a head coach who's older, who has experience, who can control Kyler Murray and can put up working with him, put up him being blunt and him getting hurt easily. Because while that might be the case, he's a star. He's a generational talent, and he's someone you can build a team around. And a team that we'll get to in a couple segments from now, the New England Patriots, they would be lucky to have a guy like Kyler Murray. Bill Belichick can control him. You don't want to become the NBA. You don't want to become the MLB or soccer, where teams can get trapped in awful contracts for 4 to 10 years at a time. The NFL is king. They're turning over. There's so much cap negotiations and flipping and putting money here, putting money there, putting money anywhere. Anything can happen. Going to another guy. Someone else who has been acting like he is in the NBA. And granted, out of the whole NFL, he's probably got the biggest social media following. He's still searching for a team. Odell Beckham Jr., who won a Super Bowl with the Rams last year after joining them super late in the season. Right now, his 3 teams, they are down to the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, and the Buffalo Bills. And at this point, for me, I think it's getting a little ridiculous. And Stephen A., I thought he said it best himself, and I agree with him. OBJ, at this point, he's got to prove himself again. He has not played since he was injured in the Super Bowl. He tore his ACL. Guys can come back so much different from that. And now you're going to hop on a team week 13, week 14. Yes, these teams are great, but I've thought this for a number of years. Last year, he made up for it with the Rams when he joined. And my comeback to that is people weren't prepared for Odell when he joined. With the offensive firepower that the Rams had, with Sean McVay being the head coach, people weren't prepared for Odell Beckham Jr. to join that team with 4 to 5 weeks left in the season. He disrupted things so fast. He tormented everybody. But I don't think that's going to be the case with the Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants. I know the Bills are there. I don't see him going to the Bills. I see him going to Dallas, and I don't think he's going to be a great fit in Dallas, and I've said it since he was in Cleveland. I think he made himself off the catch. Odell, you look at his stats, and he's a wide receiver 2 stat. I wouldn't stick him at my 1. He's not a solve all problems. In Dallas, yeah, they have CD. I don't see them using Odell right. You're going to take away from guys like Gallup. You're doing things right. Odell, he's acting like a guy in the NBA. Stars got all the power, all this. This can't happen every year. This can't be a thing. He's saying he wants to settle down. He's just fishing for a ring. And the NFL, the Shield, they don't like that. Teams, they don't like being controlled by a player. And this will not be put up with forever. Odell, Kyler, Russell, those 3 situations will be our biggest talking points throughout the next couple weeks, and especially Russell and Kyler throughout the whole offseason. It's going to be big to see the kind of statement made by coaches, owners, GMs to these players. Now, moving on to my next topic, I want to go to a team I said we were going to get to, New England Patriots and Mac Jones. Now, last night, they lost on Thursday Night Football to the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills now, since Brady has left, they are 5-1 against the New England Patriots. After only beating Brady 3 times total in his whole career, the Bills are 5-1 against them since Brady left. And the one loss, it was last year. It was an awful weather game. They could easily be 6-0. And the Patriots, they straight up gave up last night, guys. They gave up 3 timeouts. 3 timeouts. They had 3 timeouts left. 2 scores. Down 2 scores with around 2 minutes left. They let Buffalo kneel that ball out. Patriots were over it. Mac Jones was upset on the sideline. No one seemed happy. Didn't look great for Bill. Mac yelling at Joe Judge, Matt Patricia. Lack of willingness to evolve offensively. Everything is going wrong right now for the Patriots. And it all points back to Bill not evolving. And he does not have the guy right now at quarterback. So far, the Patriots, they have beaten Zach Wilson twice, Jacoby Brissett, Jared Goff, Mitchell Trubisky, and Sam Ehlinger. That's not anything. Patriots, yes, they have 6 wins. Yes, they're right at 500. And they've done decent with Mac Jones last year as well. But they can only win one way. They don't score points. They're a low-scoring team. They don't have a guy in the backfield that can do it for them. You gotta give me something more. All I've ever heard about Mac Jones is he can throw an accurate ball. That's like saying your punter can punt, or your kicker can kick, or your receiver can catch. Obviously, at the NFL level, I want my quarterback to throw an accurate ball. But Mac Jones does not have one other trait in the pro category. His backup, Bailey Zapp, showed me more than Mac Jones have. The Chiefs, the Bills, these teams can win so many ways. High scoring, low scoring, shootout, maintaining leads, coming from behind. They'll beat you passing, rushing, on defense. The Patriots, they simply can't win more than one way. They are average. They are like the Packers. They're average. Where I'm going with this, and just think about this now. If Bill wants to keep coaching, if he doesn't choose to ride off into the sunset, he's got a house in Florida, ride off into the sunset, play golf, have a good life on the beach. If he doesn't choose to do that, keep coaching, like I think we all expect he will. He keeps looking at this guy in his division that he has to play twice a year, Josh Allen, who is 6'6", 250 pounds, and looks like an F-150 truck speeding down the highway out there on the football field. Bill is a winner, and he wants that. He understands that's where the league has gone. He wants a good team, and he doesn't have the time, or frankly, to be honest, in my opinion, the patience to build one. And I think Bill Belichick could start looking at the same job Sean Payton will be looking at this offseason, which is the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers right now, they have Brandon Staley. And if we take a quick flashback to last year, Chargers, they were in position to make the playoffs. Went into a Week 18 game against the Las Vegas Raiders, and all they had to do was tie, and both teams made the playoffs. The Raiders were down to tie. Brandon Staley caused them to miss the playoffs. And there was multiple questionable coaching decisions throughout. He will likely get fired this offseason. With the amount that the Chargers loaded up, going out and getting Khalil Mack, adding, I believe it was 13 players this offseason, doing all these acquisitions, for your team to only have 6 wins right now, that's not okay. And Justin Herbert, he is built, and he's built like Josh Allen. He's big, he's fast, and he's a star. They have the defense, and Bill wouldn't have to do much overall. Chargers, top defense in the league, and will be a top offense. If you want to win a Super Bowl, if Bill's going to win another one at the professional level, now you got to move. You got to make a move. And for me, I think Bill Belichick's move this offseason is going to the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, going on, I want to talk about a little bit college football this past week. They voted to officially move. It's been in the works, but now the Rose Bowl committee approved it. They voted to officially move to a 12-team college football playoff, and I am so ecstatic for what this means for all schools, even all the way down to my school, UNC Charlotte, who just got a football program 10 years ago. This balances things out so heavy, and with the addition of NIL, name, image, likeness last year, this only changes things further. Now, I take a look at my school. We currently have no name, image, likeness money to give out, and our athletic director has said that has been a major problem. Athletic director Mike Hill has said that has been a major problem with recruits. Recruits come in, they ask about NIL, and you could tell their whole demeanor changes when we don't have NIL. Now, this 12-team college football playoff, it spreads money out. I know Charlotte's a long way out, but I'm talking about the Colorados. I'm talking about the UCFs. These guys who could get top recruits, top money, and the money can slowly spread out. But right now, it's so few. You've got Clemson, you've got Bama, you've got Georgia, you got Ohio State. You got so few at the top, with really Georgia at the top, and Bama was at the top forever. This money, it needs to be spread out. There's plenty of booster money, and there's a way to make everything a more even field overall. You're not consolidating talent. That overall, it's just bad for business. It's not good for TV. It's not good for ratings. No fan likes that. They don't like going into the year knowing there's no chance they make the playoffs, and on any given game day, their team could go beat the number one team in the country. No one likes that. But now, the college football, they're finally doing things to move in the right direction. I advocated for name, image, likeness for years, and that finally happened. Advocated for 12-team college football playoff for years. That finally happened. Those were the two major steps that needed to happen in college football to make this a better sport overall. You look across sports to the NCAA March Madness basketball tournament that they get over $1 billion contract. The NCAA, they're all about money. These conferences, they're all about money. They understand adding more teams to the playoff, that's only more money. They have a 64-team college basketball playoff. That's ridiculous. It's billions of dollars every year. It's about time this happened, and I could not be more happy. And I think there's not one person that would disagree that this was the best move all around for athletes, for fans, period. Amazing. Now, the last thing I'm going to say before I get out of here, I'm going to give y'all my best bets of the week heading in to this Sunday, week 13 of the NFL season. I've got 4 spreads for you to bundle all together, put together in a parlay, put in a big pretty bow, put it under the tree, and then after Sunday, you'll have plenty of money to cash out to go buy Christmas presents with. To start it off, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're favored by 1 point here, and I've got to take Atlanta +1. They've surprised a lot of people this season, and unlike Pittsburgh, Atlanta is still in the fight for their division in the incredibly weak NFC South. They've got something on the line, and I think Atlanta's not going to lose this game at home. So hammer Atlanta +1. The Broncos at the Ravens. Broncos country, I just ripped on you, and if you really thought I could bet with you, then you're just false. I got to take the Baltimore Ravens, who are favored by 8.5 at home. There's no reason why you should think Broncos country could put up more than 15, 17 points, and Ravens will put up 30 easily. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Detroit Lions. For some reason, Vegas oddmakers, even in Detroit, they have Jacksonville favored by 1. I like what Motor City Dan Campbell's putting together. On Thanksgiving, they put together an impressive showing against the Bills, and I'm not ruling the Lions out. Lions +1. In the last game, Rams at Seahawks. Seahawks, they're favored by 7. It pains me to do this. They were my Super Bowl pick before the season started, but I can no longer stay with the Los Angeles Rams. I gotta take the Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Pete Carroll. I gotta take those guys in the 7 points. So to wrap it all up, Atlanta +1, Ravens -8.5, Lions +1, and Seahawks -7. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Adam Eisen Show. I will see you all again on Tuesday for the NFL Week 13 recap. Until then, peace.